How's it going, guys? My name is Michael. This is going to be a new series that I'm doing called In Front of the Lens, where I, a motorsports photographer, get in front of the camera this time to talk to legends of motorsport. Today I'm joined by Adam Andretti, a Trans Am driver. Just go ahead and introduce yourself real quick, Adam.
Yeah, hi, I'm Adam Andretti. I drive in the Trans Am series presented by Pirelli. I drive for Burton Racing and Top Liner, the best in the spray and bed liner business. I also compete in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on a limited schedule for 2026, and look forward to you tuning in.
So that was actually my first question, is about St. Pete.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite tracks of the year to watch as far as IndyCar, but if I'm not mistaken, that was the first year they've done that with the Craftsman Truck Series in a while. So what was that experience like?
So yeah, they'd never been to, the Craftsman Truck Series had literally never been to a street course. So that was new territory for everybody, and you know, it was fun. It was great to see an organization like NASCAR tackle something that they've never tackled before, especially at that level in the Truck Series. They did the Chicago Street Race for the Cup level, but this is the first time they'd ever done anything along those lines for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and really everyone was anticipating, you know, kind of just a wreck fest, and I was really proud of the competitors that they didn't follow up with that. Unfortunately for me, I got wrecked out of the whole deal. But you know, it was, you know, I think we came in as one of the favorites. I'm definitely a new guy to their playground, and I think that makes the target on your back just a little bit bigger. And I don't think it was on purpose, but it was definitely an ambitious move where you know, someone with more experience wouldn't have made a move there. You know, when you don't have the road racing or street racing experience, you think there's a hole there, and it's just that's a spot on the track that there's not. You wouldn't even go around a lap truck that was 10 seconds, you know, a lap off of you, because there's just no room there. So it was just a victim of circumstance, but the race itself was a lot of fun. It drew a lot of attention. I think there was 50,000 plus people there that showed up. They were stacked deep all the way around that racetrack. There was a lot of great positive energy there, and I look forward to hopefully doing that again.
And that's a really good point you brought up, the attendance numbers, because one of the things that's been happening over the years is in almost every motorsport series, especially in the ones that I've gotten to cover here, there seems to be every year over year an uptick in attendance. From someone who's been in motorsports that long, have you seen the uptick of recent, and is it like very noticeable for you as a driver?
I think it all depends. I think you know, we're seeing some of it here in the Trans Am series. We're seeing, I think this is probably the most campers I've seen here at Road Atlanta for our Road Atlanta weekend, which is super positive to see, because it's not like, you know, if you're tent camping and it gets in the 40s, that's not exactly comfortable. And there's a lot of tents back there, so that's kind of neat, and we're seeing that progress, and they're doing a good job there, or they're definitely doing a better job at trying to get the word out there. And then I think the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is doing a really, really good job at grabbing an audience, because it reminds people of a lot of the old school NASCAR, and you know what they've done with the Cup Series and the next gen car, and the O'Reilly series, with it being, you know, rather kind of a spec kind of deal. It's the fans have been kind of turned off by that, so they haven't shown as much love to that as they've really shown to the Truck Series. I mean, it's because it reminds them of the NASCAR of old. You know, there's good hard-nosed racing, and they could see the work that these teams are putting into these trucks, you know, that they're building them from the ground up. It's not something that they're buying from NASCAR. So I think that's definitely helping. Obviously, we're seeing Formula One audiences at the largest that we've ever seen. IndyCar audiences are growing steadily as well. So yeah, I think that's a great observation, that we're seeing not much more interest, and I think, you know, not everyone can afford to go to a Formula One or IndyCar race. So these grassroots races, these Trans Am races, if you will, are a great opportunity. That if you are a race fan, you know, it's $20 to get in here, and you could get everywhere you can get, except for the special photography areas.
Yeah, there's like 3 corners on the outside that you can't go. But
yeah,
that's something I brought up to my audience on more or less my TikTok and my Instagram, of when I was trying to get my foot in the door, coming to events like this, because for a 3-day pass, it's $35-40,
mm-hmm.
and you got SVRA here, you have TA2, you have so many different varieties of cars to really test your skills and just see, you know, like one of my favorite groups is the old stock car series. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like that's what I grew up with. So seeing the Ricky Craven car, seeing the old Terry Labonte car, like it brings back my childhood because I had little die-casts of those when my dad was watching NASCAR with me on TV. To bring it back to Trans Am, you have a second car this year with a teammate. How is that experience like? And would you prefer your teammate to be slower or faster than you to kind of push you?
Yeah, no, I know that Burton Racing was built a brand new car over the winter, and we knew from last year that Martin was going to come in and drive. And Martin's been with Burton Racing longer than I have, so I think you want your teammate just to be a good teammate. It doesn't matter if they're faster or slower. That's not how you would rank a teammate. You rank them on how they work with everybody, how they work with the team, how they work with you. Their willingness to go through, and discuss their data with your data and video and so on and so forth. And that's my definition of a good teammate. And I've been blessed to always have good teammates. So, Martin's a really good teammate, and he's super fast. And it never hurts to have that out here. But also, we can't really even compare apples to apples because that car is a 3-year-old car, and everything we learned from that car we put on this is an evolution of that. So they're not even, their geometries aren't the same with the suspension, and the weight balances aren't the same, weight distribution is not the same. The cars want totally different things. So from that point of view, it's almost like you don't really have a teammate. We just have two drivers that are wearing the same color suits.
Yeah. So you get to do a lot of race weekends.
Then when you get a minute, a guy wants to buy your suit.
Got it.
So you get to do a lot of race weekends over your career. What is one of your favorite things about a race weekend that doesn't involve driving the car?
The fans. Getting to interact with the fans. I mean, just what my car, Claudio, my car owner, just came in, talked to me, and said someone wants to buy my suit. Then when you don't want to sell it, you got to worry about if it's going to get hawked or not.
Yeah.
So I'm teasing there, but no, your interaction with the fans is always the best. Without the fans, we're not. What are we doing here? I'm not a guy who just wants to sit there and entertain, those close to me. I want to entertain a vast group of people, and it's a sport. It's an entertainment. People are coming here to forget about anything that's going on in their lives and just enjoy a sport. And when you get to be a part of that, and you get to see that in people and get to interact with them, that's why I will always 100% make all the time in the world for any fan that wants to come and approach me. There's a time and a place. If you got a helmet on and you're getting in or out of the car, that's not the best time to start approaching a driver. But we're in the civvies, or even if we're on our grid walk, autograph sessions, those kind of interactions. And then for me, I think it's extra special because of my family heritage, right? I get a lot of race fans that come up to me that have had interactions with my family, and I get to hear wonderful stories about what that was like, because I'm a product of them and what they've done, and I'm just trying to hold the torch and keep the torch lit as long as I can. So you want to make sure that you're adding to their positive experience, just like they had with anyone that was in my family.
That makes a lot of sense. To segue into that, actually, one of the questions that I had was about you being an Andretti. Does getting to carry that torch, I mean, the Andretti name is synonymous basically with the word motorsports. Does having that last name add pressure to perform, to kind of go out and do the things that maybe another driver wouldn't really have to, like more media obligation?
I think I know where you're going. Like live up to an expectation.
Is there pressure on you because you have the Andretti last name?
I think if you were to ask any of the drivers around, they all put the same amount of pressure on themselves, no matter what their last name is. I think the only difference between being an Andretti is, if my cousin Michael said it best, if you don't perform, the questions get asked, well, why didn't they perform? They were an Andretti. And then when you do perform and you win, like, oh, well, you should have won. They're an Andretti. So that's I would say the only difference. But it's truly a blessing to be in this family. It's a blessing in every aspect. Not only from a sporting side of it, because that's what everyone knows, but I tell people all the time, if my family never turned a lap in a race car, I was still born into one of the greatest families ever to exist. I have an amazing support system. They're great people. They're just great human beings. We have a lot of fun. I tell people all the time, there's not a single one person in my family that doesn't have a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
And that makes all the difference in the world. That's what brings peace to people, is having a sense of humor. If you're all uptight about something out there, y'all, just calm down, right? There's no reason to be uptight, because it's a sense of humor is a way of life. And being able to laugh at yourself, that's what my dad, my late father Aldo, was the absolute best at. When he made a mistake, he was the first to laugh at himself, and it diffused everything, and then you laughed with him.
Yeah.
And, so I always kind of appreciated that part of the family more than anything, more than the sporting side. We're just a great, genuine group of people that care about each other, that will do absolutely anything for each other, and we just happen to drive race cars and are pretty good at it.
So my final question for you is, because you're an Andretti and you've done a lot in motorsports over your career, but I feel like with you as an Andretti, you can kind of go and do whatever series you want over the course of your career. Why Trans Am? Why do you choose to do Trans Am?
Well, and honestly, Michael, that'd be a common misconception, right? People would look at the name and be like, "Oh, you could go do anything you want," and really, that's not how the sport works. The sport owes nobody anything, and just like the world owes nobody anything. And so, for me, it was just where opportunities presented themselves. My entire life was just based on taking opportunities and working for opportunities, and it would have been easy for me to take a route of driving for family and doing those things and working that route. But I didn't want ever to be looked at as, oh, he's just out there because he can and because he is an Andretti, and I wanted to be out there on my own merit. So all the programs, everything I've always put together has been outside of what the family does, and that has served me well. But at the same time, there's probably some goals I haven't reached because of that. I've always wanted to get to the Indianapolis 500 and compete in that race and compete at some of those different levels. I'm just now getting to NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Trust me, that wasn't in my plan to be a 46-year-old rookie, but it was God's plan, and I've always trusted the plan that God's put out there for me, and that's where you find true peace, and is when you give that up, and give up that. God knows what's in our hearts. He knows what we want, and it's all on His timeline. And so, but if you try to force it into your timeline, that's when you tend to get mixed up in the wrong part of things, and then you'll start to get down and depressed and upset that you're not where you think you should be, and that's not where I want to be. I'm really, really blessed and happy that I am where I am, and the Trans Am series is a great series. I mean, it's a series that honestly, since I was young, was a goal of mine to be in it, because it's literally the only major form of motorsports in the United States of America that my family, nobody had competed in. So I'm the first Andretti to ever compete in Trans Am. So everything that's in the record books that says Andretti is this Andretti. And it goes back to what I said earlier. I want to do everything on my own merit. So it's just like God planted me here for a reason, was to fill us up, to make sure that we didn't have any voids in the record books.
Well, thank you for your time. I have one final question. It's more of a kind of a fun one.
Yeah.
Because you can't really hear anything in those cars. They're quite loud.
Yeah.
But if you could hear something, what song would you be wanted to hear while you're driving in those cars?
People are going to find this crazy, right? Because everyone's into music, and I don't listen to music.
Really?
Yeah, and I like when I drive in a car.
Not even like Vivaldi or anything? Some nice orchestra?
No, I don't have any music in my car. I mean, I guess if I were to think of anybody, it would be Andrea Bocelli, right?
Okay.
If I love anything, I love opera. It's the Italian in me, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, when I drive my car, silent. When I'm on the road, it's silent. I get enough noise, you said, and there's enough noise in life, and for me, music just never hit my tune too much. So, I got respect for musicians. I love musicians. I have friends that are musicians. I go to concerts and I'll do those things, but it's not like I have a favorite band or I have a favorite this or a favorite genre of music or anything like that. I respect talent, and when I can recognize talent, I love that. And I think with auto-tune nowadays, you don't see as much talent. I don't believe Andrea Bocelli has ever been under auto-tune.
Probably not. Well, that was Adam Andretti, Trans Am driver for Burton Racing. He's in the number 17. This is going to come out after your race tomorrow, but wishing you luck.
Thank
Hoping
you.
to see you on the podium, hopefully on the top step, but a podium would be good.
The number 5 Topliner truck too. When you're tuned into the NASCAR races.
Craftsman Truck
Yeah,
Series.
number 5 Tricon Garage, Toyota Tundra. Topliner is well key. Looking for Topliner dealers. You're looking for an opportunity as an entrepreneur. Reach out topliner.com.
Awesome. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you, Michael.
Adam. You take it
Appreciate
easy.
you.
All right. Thank you, guys.